Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, my friends. Today we're taking a look back at Mortal Kombat 11. Now I know taking a look back maybe is a weird term because the game is not quote-unquote dead, but the game is no longer receiving any further updates. As per NetherRealm Studios, the game has in a way reached the end of its lifespan. And with that said, obviously there'll be more in the future. Don't know what it's going to be. Could be the Marvel game that's being rumored. Could be Injustice 3. Heck, maybe if we're lucky we'll get Shaolin Monks 2. But for now, we don't know what the future is going to hold. So let's take a look back at Mortal Kombat 11. What the game did right. What the game did wrong. Maybe some lessons NetherRealm can learn from in the future. And just taking a look back at the product as a whole. I guess you could say this will be the triumphs and failures of Mortal Kombat 11. So to start with the positive note here, let's start with some of the triumphs of the game. So first off, visually, the game is a complete triumph. Like the character models, the everything, they just look so good, so well animated. Especially like the facial animations. For a company that was ripped on for so many years about bad facial animations, Mortal Kombat 11 put that to bed. Especially getting actors' likenesses for a lot of the faces, and hey, Shang Tsung specifically, getting Kerry Tagawa back for both, like, you know, the facial modeling, mocap, all that kind of stuff, and the direct voice lines and all that kind of stuff. Truly a fanboy's dream come true. Absolutely, I lost my crap, honestly, when I first heard this was going to be the case. No matter how you want to swing it, Mortal Kombat 11 is simply a beautiful looking game and really stands out among any of its competitors. It's just fantastic from top to bottom. One of the things I find great about Mortal Kombat 11, specifically that wasn't in other games, is the crushing blow mechanic. Certainly partially inspired by lethal hits in Soul Calibur 6, but still very much its own thing. It added depth because you had to pay attention to what's going on. Like Sub-Zero doing random slide, yo, that's been the case since the 90s, right? That's nothing new. But with crushing blows, all of a sudden, you know, random slide in the EX. Right here, when the third one of those happens, then you're really paying attention. Why? Because after the third EX slide, that's when the crushing blow unlocks. And that crushing blow, yo, does some damage, right? So all of a sudden, after 3 of those, the threat of the next rando-ass slide from Sub-Zero becomes infinitely more terrifying than it was before, and that's all thanks to the power of crushing blows. Keeping with our Sub-Zero example here, say, and this was added later on in the game's life, but forward and 4, right? If you hit that once, the next one, if it hits 2 times in a row, the next one can be a crushing blow. And, you know, it's 26%. So that's not nothing. All of a sudden, so if you get hit by one of these, you got to start thinking, okay, there's a very realistic chance that the next attack that's going to come my way is going to be another boot, because the second boot now has the crushing blow attached to it, right? So that can dictate a lot of the mind games and the gameplay. Same with throws. So many throws have, if you fail to tech a throw, if you teched incorrectly, the next one's loaded up with the crushing blow. And Sub-Zero, his is on the back throw specifically. So even when it's not wise to normally like back throw, even if he had you in the corner or something, the back throw might be the better option because it's going to have a lot more damage attached to it, right? So it also informs the throw game. Okay, which throws are coming next? Keeping rolling with Sub-Zero, because I think he's a great example of it. A string like 1, 2, 4, right? Kind of not much of a string, kind of a nothing string, right? But it specifically has a crushing blow attached to it. If you do this in a combo of 8 hits or more, the final hit will be a crushing blow and then give so much more damage. So let's take a basic combo example here in the corner. So we'll use back 3-2, right? All right, so that was exactly 8 hits, just shy of 26%, right? Now with the crushing blow, it's closer to 40%. Yeah, you only get it once a game, right? But that could be the difference of when you're choosing to burn the crushing blow between you or losing the round, right? If I got him almost dead, I can do this to seal the deal, but maybe I want to wait out and save it for the next round. And just in general, this kind of stuff added just a big layer of depth to the game. Now, to be fair, some people's crushing blows, like, everyone had the universal uppercut, crushing blow, all that kind of stuff. Some people's crushing blow games were not great, or more to the point, they're just super simple, right? You just got them by the course of playing. You didn't have to think twice about them. There was no skill or forethought, right? But some people, you want to base a lot of what you're doing the match around the crushing blows, right? So on that level, both you, the person trying to set up the crushing blow, and the opponent trying to counterplay around the crushing blow, where applicable, that just added a lot of depth to the game, in my opinion. Another thing Mortal Kombat 11 did fantastically is the guest characters. So I'm talking Joker, I'm talking Spawn, I'm talking Terminator, Rambo, all of them, RoboCop. All the guest characters are great. Now I know there's more than a few of you who are like, oh my god, they should add more guests, or, take the guest characters out. Why have RoboCop when we can have Smoke? Why have Rambo when we can have Havoc? Shut up. Seriously, shut up. I know so many people who have bought this game and any fighting game because of the guest characters. Guest characters sell copies to people who would never otherwise play the game, right? One of my best friends bought Mortal Kombat 11 purely because of RoboCop, and he played the game for 6 months just because of RoboCop. Any other character, Natara, Havoc, Smoke, Reptile, that would never have made this guy buy the game. RoboCop did. For the people who are already going to play whatever given fighting game, for the most part, they're always going to play it. If you want Reptile real bad, I bet you still bought the game, even without Reptile in it, because it's still Mortal Kombat in the end. The guest characters don't hurt you. They're not out to get you. But what they are is to engage a whole new audience that might never have tried a fighting game before, right? And this has worked in so many other games besides this, obviously, Predator and Jason and Alien, all that, and MKX, Geralt, Ezio, Darth Vader, Yoda, and Soul Calibur, all that kind of stuff. It brings in a whole new market. And for someone like me, I love Rambo to death. Played tons of Rambo. I was very happy he was in the game, so that's great for me too, right? Even the guy wants to play other characters, I still had a lot of fun with the guest characters. And I think in this game, they look so man, look at Rambo, he looks so good. They've obviously put a lot of love and care into these. RoboCop looks exactly like what else could you want, right? Joker, obviously he wasn't the first choice because we all know the whole Ash Williams debacle, right? But he still looks great. So many people waited so long for Spawn, and they finally got him, and I hope they were happy with it. But yeah, the guest characters in this game I find were fantastic, and it goes to show, definitely sold a lot of copies of the game, right? Sometimes, when a lot of people ask for something, they don't actually really want it in the end. Melina case example, roughly, I don't know what, 10, 11, 12 billion people on Earth asking for Melina to be in the game, and then when she finally shows up, almost nobody plays her. That's the reality, right? That's why you do the guest characters instead, because they'll bring in the new blood, because the people who say they want the old characters, sometimes they're really just talking, they're not actually going to do anything about it. But yeah, the guest characters in Mortal Kombat 11, big thumbs up. A feature that wasn't there at launch, to be sure, but Mortal Kombat 11 has crossplay. Crossplay between PlayStation, between Xbox. Not so much PC. There's long-standing issues with all PC versions of all NetherRealm games. Let's leave it at that, right? Because that's a video in and of itself. But yeah, it has crossplay. If you're watching this years from now, I don't know. Maybe this whole crossplay thing is solved, right? But nowadays, this is one of the biggest ticket issues we have in fighting games. Because we finally, for the most part, solved netcode. And yes, Mortal Kombat 11 has great rollback netcode. Considering a lot of this game's lifespan was during the timeline of Dragon Ball FighterZ and me switching between both all the time. Anything you could fault, we know bad Wi-Fi people and all that kind of stuff. In this game, sure, whatever, it sucked, I guess, but that's all fighting games. But the rollback was good. And every time I switch back to Dragon Ball, I'm just like, oh man. Ooh, Mortal Kombat was so much better. But yeah, so it had crossplay. This is a fight we're having right now for Guilty Gear. We'll probably have it for Melty Blood. We'll probably have it for King of Fighters, Street Fighter 6, and whatever else in the future. I don't know. But yeah, it took a while. It wasn't there day one, but they added crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox, and that's the coolest damn thing.
I do
Another big thing Mortal Kombat 11 did so well is the story mode. Now, nowadays, cinematic story modes in general, they're the norm in fighting games, right? And NRS, with Mortal Kombat 9 starting it all, is definitely the people who set the trend, and they are still by far the best at it. And the best at it by a lot. And Mortal Kombat 11, the main story mode, the Aftermath story mode, they both just proved they're still the kings at the concept. And really, honestly, no one else even comes a little bit close. There's a lot of contenders to the throne. Street Fighter V tried. If you remember the Soul Calibur 6 one, Soul Calibur 5 one, those were kind of dicey at best, right? But lots of people try, and this specific scene right here, this is why I picked this part, right? Seeing Liu Kang and Raiden battling each other throughout all of time, throughout every permutation of time ever, always leads to a battle between Liu Kang and Raiden. And all the revelations and that kind of stuff is just truly amazing. Wow. And for people like myself who like the lesser loved characters and, kind of root for the bad guys sometimes too, seeing Nightwolf, Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, and Sindel getting, the main spotlight in Aftermath was awesome. Certain things maybe not so great, like the continual jobberdom of Kotal Kahn. Mortal Kombat X was introduced with the last name Kahn, pretty big deal, right? And then he loses. In MK11 story mode, he gets his back broken. And Aftermath story mode, he gets his head cut off and all that kind of stuff. That's just a personal gripe, I guess. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 story mode, both of them, fantastic. NetherRealm still the absolute undisputed kings of cinematic storytelling and fighting games. And just lots of other little things, like, they added friendships. Awesome. Friendships have been gone, for many, many years. They brought them back. Lots of the dialogue, when the two characters fight each other at the start of the round, they'll say something, and there's mountains and mountains of dialogue. Everyone has something to say to everybody else. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they add to the lore of the franchise. Either way, very appreciated. Lots of good stuff in Mortal Kombat 11, to be sure. So now we talk some of the highlights, some of the triumphs. Let's talk some of the lowlights, some of the failures. And straight up, I'm just going to say this right now, one of the biggest failures of Mortal Kombat 11 is, simply put, the variation system. So as it stands, it worked to a degree in Mortal Kombat X. But the thing is, variations in this game are nowhere near as good or as thought out as they were in Mortal Kombat X. Just on every possible level. So let's use Nightwolf as our example here. So before they added third variations, before they added custom variations, they had simply, just the two for everybody, right? And they were poorly thought out at best. We have here Nightwolf, variation number 1, Matoka Warrior, and it had Rising Tomahawk. Awesome. That's good. It's your combo move, right? Everyone needs a combo move, except for the variations that don't have combos, but, hey, whatever. So it had your combo move, even though really, you'd think that should be a base thing for every character, but a lot of characters, you had to have your combo move in your variation. And a lot of characters also didn't, right? So it created a little bit of a have and have not situation of some characters could get big combos regardless, and some had to go to a specific variation. And then we had Spirit Akiba. I know someone in the comments is going to try to defend this move, but this move sucks. Straight up. The buff is very small. It's only active for an incredibly small amount of time, and you just don't want it. Now, considering there's all these other moves here he could have used, imagine if it was Rising Tomahawk and Lightning Arrow. Wow, what a different character that would have been at launch, right? When he came out as one of the original DLCs. But it didn't, right? So he had this pretty good move in Lightning Arrow, and we couldn't touch this move until, when they did the patch that introduced the third variation. Then all of a sudden we had this. And it was good, because then we got a different kind of combo move. Spirit Tracks needed Ancestral Hunter to become a real combo starter. So we had our 2-point combo launcher and one decent move in Lightning Arrow. We also had the quasi grappler variation, which everyone would talk up, but nobody would actually play. Because it really wasn't that good in the end, honestly. If you wanted to grab people, there were so many better things, so many better characters you could do it with. So yeah, it just sucked. And finally, we can make our custom variations, right? And the problem is, once again, using Nightwolf as our example with the custom variations, okay, let's make our custom thing here. All right, so we got 3 points to work with. If we want any kind of combo launcher, because Nightwolf's damage without launchers is pretty bad, we need Rising Tomahawk, which is 2 points, or we need Spirit Tracks with Ancestral Hunter, which is also 2 points. And that sucks, man. Like, if I feel like a launcher is a basic concept in a fighting game. Not every character needs a launcher, sure, right? But in Mortal Kombat, specifically, you'd think you'd want them, and all of a sudden I have to pay the tax of I need a 2-point move one way or the other just to juggle someone. That sucks. That's not fun. And then say we go to other characters where the variations were kind of good at the start. Like Collector's a great example, right? He had good variations at the start. Variation 1, Variation 2, either way was good. Variation 3, not so good. And then, like, we go in and then we create our own custom variation, right? And for someone like me, who I'm one of the very few Collector players out there, right? Someone like me, what I want in my variation is this. I want Bag Bomb, I want Vial of Sorrow, and I want Demonic Comet. I just want to play Variation 2. I want to play Spare Change. I don't actually get anything out of Variation 3 or custom variations because, to me, Collector was solved, as it were, when you had the base available variations. No matter how you look at it, like, so many people either had just incredibly poorly thought out moves, let's say Shang Tsung here. Inferno, who the hell uses Inferno Skull? What a garbage move. And this is part of, up until he finally got buffed later on down the road, this was basically his main variation for a large part of the game's history, right? And so we had Ground Eruption, which is a great move, and Inferno Skull, which is insulting. Like, who wants it? And once again, time went on, things got better. Like, one of the big things that was good was, okay, we gave you 4 points of variation in 3-point slot here in Shapeshifter training. So we got all the ninja moves in one go, because normally you'd have to spend 4 points, whatever. But yeah, just so much of it was just poorly thought out, aimless, and adding a third variation and eventually adding custom variations was more like a band-aid than anything else. Like, MKX variations, you might have had variations you liked or you didn't like, but there was no dead moves, right? Like, there was no just things that just fully wasted your time onto the same level that it was in MK11. Because so many people in MK11 to this day, they just got so much dead stuff. Stuff they look at, they just didn't do anything with. And I just don't know why, man. Like, I could rant about this all day long, really. But yeah, variations in MK11, big failure. Now, following directly off the back of variations, one of the biggest things that was levied at NetherRealm Studios, criticized NetherRealm Studios for over the years before Mortal Kombat 11 was, you guys patched too much. You patched the game too much, you changed the balance too much, and everything is too much. And NRS took that to heart in the worst possible way, as we have the exact opposite problem in Mortal Kombat 11. As the game is patched too little, and every time there is a patch, too little is happening in that patch. We get patch notes that are incredibly small, address none of the issues about the game that have been plaguing the game for years. We still, to this day, have tons of hit and hurtbox issues that were just simply unaddressed, not touched. And it's not like they're like weird, little, behind the shadow things only 2 or 3 people know about, right? These are big public things. Johnny Cage, good example, right? But yeah, so many things that could be patched, should be patched, aren't. And so many people say, you need to patch games less. And I think this is the perfect example of that idea is dead and wrong. I think more patches is definitely better for the health of a game. And Mortal Kombat 11 is my test case, because there's just too little, and what was there didn't change much. And so many problems persisted for years. Be it both bugs, hitbox issues, hurtbox issues, and definitely balance issues. As so many crazy things about the game either got the lightest possible touch, like say Joker nerfs, like if you can even call them that, right? Or so many things that that needed huge changes and just simply never got them over the years, despite people screaming as hard as they can into their microphones over the years, like say 4-3-4 being special cancelable, that kind of stuff for Shao Kahn, right? Just ignored. And when this character finally got a patch buff, and it's still a small change in the end, 2 years later, it's insulting, right? But yeah, too few patches, and the patches of too little consequence. And it's just a damn shame. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is purely mechanical, and that is basically defensive options and breakaway. Breakaway, definitely an unpopular defensive option throughout the life of the game. Combo breakers are by no means rare in NRS games, right? I think Deception was the first game to have the breaker, right? So it's not a rare concept at all. But the breakaway specifically is a very different beast. The breakaway, multiple timings, first of all, so the offensive player is really iffy. Now, the original meta, like early on in the game's life, was like, I could either do my combo and you might break, which is cool, and then like I'll just try to sneak in an extra uppercut or something if I know you're going to break. Get a little bit of extra damage in, right? That was how it was early on, and that point, that was fine enough. But what happened after, we evolved and started learning how the game works is you literally can't do anything or you're gonna die. So let's go through this very common Aaron Black style option, right? So I'm just gonna do my combo launch, and then I'll do, slide, put the spit puddle in, then I can pressure you, all the kind of stuff. All well and good. And say, at this point right here, if I'm gonna break, you can watch that and uppercut me, get your extra damage. But the problem is this. So I'm gonna wait for you to do this right here. Now I'm gonna break. And what does that say? It says punish, right? Because I know generally, because I know the Aaron Black combo structure, after that, then the slide is gonna happen. So I'm going to take that hit, break after that hit, and then basically, not on top of just me breaking the combo, as it were, I'm going to punish you for doing your combo. And the more you understand the matchup, the more you're going to find every situation how this kind of stuff works, where the character has a very specific set of strings, set of combos they want to do, and when you break away at a very specific part of it, and they keep following through with whatever string in the special, or sometimes not even needed for a special, you're going to get a guaranteed full punish on them. And that's turning the tables in a way that's just absolutely ridiculous and unfair, in my opinion. It is more at that point than just a simple combo breaker. If you understand the matchup, you turn this combo breaker into potentially the game-winning setup. You're going to win the game because they comboed you. And if that's not antithetical to fighting games as it is, right? I don't know what is. So I think it's super poorly designed. I think the game would have been so much better served if it was just simply you hit the thing and it just works like a breaker in old games. You push each other back, reset the neutral, donezo, right? As it is, it was way too powerful. The like band-aid solution for armor breaking and all that kind of stuff. It helped a couple characters, I guess, but overall, like, it was just exactly that. It was a band-aid solution. And breakaway just sucks. And just follow up from that, just all the options. Wake up roll, wake up 2, wake up 3, a million different ways you can delay. Eventually the delay tech got changed. So there's only like, a couple forms of delay versus like just how many frames did you hold the button. But like very few fighting games have me, if not any fighting game, have me scared to go in on someone. Like in Mortal Kombat 11. Like, if you knock them down in the corner, this should be the best case scenario in any possible fighting game, right? And yet, due to the myriad of options between just everything, it's terrifying to attack someone in this game. Like, the most you can do, the safest you could do a lot of times is like just down 3 for a lot of characters. Because, like, if you want to go for a string, everything in Mortal Kombat has a lot of forward movement, well, for the most part anyways. So if they do like a forward roll, you're dead, because you're going to be committed to the animation. You're stuck in your animation while they roll past you and you moved yourself into the corner, and now they're going to get like 30 to 50% on you in a corner combo. If you dared hit a button, they could have did like wake up 3 or something. Jab 2, wake up throw, man, just because it's so scary to do something to somebody on their wake up throw became such an amazing piece of business as well, right? Because when you're just paralyzed because the enemy has so many choices, then you can just take your turn. Like, you want knock me down, whatever, I'm not scared, right? Yeah, man, just I'm a big fan. I'm a big proponent of defensive option in fighting games. But when you just take everything together as it stands in Mortal Kombat 11, it's almost like a perfect storm. And you should not be terrified when you're the person who knocked them down. The aggressor should not be the one who's scared. And yet, in a very real sense, that's how Mortal Kombat 11 kind of turned out. For other negative stuff here, definitely problems with Mortal Kombat 11, more on NRS than the game itself. There was definitely a distinct lack of communication between the developers and the player base. For the first year or so of the game, it was fine. And generally speaking, before what happened, I would point out NetherRealm Studios as the gold standard in company to player base communication. You know, lots of Twitter announcements, lots of, you know, the Kombat cast and the Watchtower for Injustice, all that kind of stuff. All that's truly fantastic. And then all of a sudden it just dried up. Now I understand COVID caused issues, but there's issues for everybody, right? And I understand there's some weird corporate stuff going on where Warner Brothers Studios, the owners of NetherRealm Studios, calls the shots in the end. But it doesn't make it suck any less as, you know, someone in the player base. Yes, maybe your hands were tied. I don't know, but it still sucked. And I was still not happy to see such a major game just go radio dark for major portions of its lifespan. And those are some of my thoughts, both positive and negative, about, I guess we call, the legacy of Mortal Kombat 11. So they have already stated NetherRealm Studios are hard at work at the next game. All I can hope is things go smoother the next time around, right? Worldwide pandemic didn't help. Potential corporate issues didn't help, right? And all I can hope is whatever the next game is, they get to follow through on their vision for that game unheeded, and everything just goes well. As a studio, I love NetherRealm Studios. I'm a big fan of Mortal Kombat, a big fan of the Injustice games as well, and I play every single game they make, and I'll definitely play the next game. So hopefully there's lessons learned with what Mortal Kombat 11 came out to be in the end, and we can strive forward to a new, brighter future in whatever the next release may be. That all said, my friends, those are my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts on the matter. So be it positive or be it negative, you know, post it in the comments below. And if it's negative, be constructive. Be constructive, right? We don't need the same, you know, dumb things we've all heard time and time again. Use your words, right? Use your words, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But otherwise, my friends, hey, that's it for me. So that's it for me. That's it for this video. And, well, it's time to clock out, I guess. So thank you very much for watching, my friends. Hope this video has found you well. And whenever the time comes, go out and play the next NetherRealm game.